So in today's video, I thought I'd share painful emotions and questions that were going through my mind as I had to downsize and get rid of around 90% of the stuff in my storage unit. If you're new here, my name is Shirley, and on this channel I share the realities of living solo after starting over at over 50 and just navigating life as I house share and as I try to rebuild my life. Last week I had to get rid of all my stuff from the storage unit. When I first had the storage unit, I was working part-time and they also did an offer which was hugely discounted compared to how it is now. After the offer finished, the payments went up, so I had to downsize into a smaller unit. But that again, after the initial discounted price, I just can't afford it. And it wasn't sustainable for me to spend so much money on storing my stuff. So I've had no choice but to get rid of all the stuff. Apart from what I have in my room now, that's all that's left from all my belongings from my past. Even though I'm talking about it so easily now, I can tell you that it was not an easy process. And I went through lots of emotions and questions in my mind that I never thought I'd have to go through. So this is what we're left with, and I think in that suitcase I've got shoes which I'm definitely going to throw out, some of them. A pair of boots up there, which is pricey boots, and you can see my collection of books, which most of them will be going to the charity shop. I'm only going to keep about 3 or 4 boxes, and I really don't know how I'm going to downsize it all. A lot of the stuff that I got rid of were when the children were small, and I kept some things such as Christmas decorations that we'd put up over the years, and it just reminds me of the happy times, the putting up the Christmas tree, the excitement of the children's faces as they looked forward to opening their Christmas presents, the smell of all the Christmases, because we always had a real tree, so the smell of the pine tree, the smell of the cooking in preparation for Christmas Day. So for me, the Christmas decorations symbolize those happy memories, and it was really, really difficult to get rid of them. But you have to do what you have to do. Also, I kept some of their baby clothes. It's always nice, isn't it, when you see these tiny little clothes, and it just reminds you of those times when the children were babies and the cute little smells and the first smiles. The other thing that was emotional to get rid of was our dining table and chairs. And for me, for a long time, that was sort of a prized possession because it came from my daughter's great grandparents. So it was an antique Japanese oak, and I thought that somebody might want it one day and I could sell it as an antique and it will be worth a lot. And also, it was a remembrance of all the happy Christmas dinners that we've had, the family gatherings that we've had. And even when my children got older, and not just my friends, but we used to have their friends come over for parties, for birthdays, and things like that. So, all those things isn't just stuff, but it's all the wonderful memories that went with them. And that's what made it so much harder to get rid of those items. And it's also to do with the thought of, if I'm getting rid of all these things, there's no longer the trigger of the memories that we had. And that makes it even harder because it feels like I'm letting go of those good times with my children, seeing them grow up, the fun in their faces, the joys that we used to have. If you're in a similar position to me and you're house sharing, one day you'll want to live on your own again. And as I'm letting things go, I'm thinking to myself, what if I need this again? And also, I'm sure if you're my age, you're thinking, well, this is still in good condition. I may need this again in the future. And it is so hard to get rid of stuff that are in good condition and still has their usefulness. But unfortunately, because of the position I'm in now and because of the financial constraints of having to pay such a large amount of money for the storage each month, it's so hard to let these things go. A lot of my stuff were books. And for example, there's a book that I had, and I knew I'd already thrown it out, that it's called The Artist's Way. And last year, there was a singer who used the knowledge in the book, The Artist's Way, and that's how she became famous. And so the book had a sort of a revival in situations like that where I think, oh, I wish I hadn't thrown it out. And that's why one of the regrets sometimes, if you are going through this process of downsizing because you're empty nester or you need the space, is the regret of, will I ever need this again? And this is a big one for me because a lot of the stuff that I'd kept in storage was to do with the times when I was a midwife. I'm the first person in my family to get a degree, and I was a single parent when I did my midwifery degree. So it was a lot of time, effort, sacrifice, not just for me, but sacrifice in terms of the children going to the childminders because I'm doing shifts in hospital and it just can't be helped. It's one of those things that I had to go through the process to qualify, and it's a lot of sacrifice. I had a lot of books and other things related to me being a midwife. And not only that, once I qualified, I had more money to spend on books that nurture me emotionally and spiritually. I spent money on making sure our home was nurturing and welcoming and a nice environment for my children to grow up in. And it's a lot of money spent and a lot of love put into creating your home. But because I'm having to get rid of them now, I just think, what a lot of money down the drain. And it's such a waste. And what makes it worse is because of the position I'm in now, I haven't got a lot of money and I'm having to get rid of all these things that could be really useful. Being a midwife comes with a degree of respect and admiration. And once you get rid of something that means so much to you, it just feels like, well, what do I do now? Do people see me as still important? Do I still matter? Do I still give back to society? And that was me being a midwife. And for you, it may be something different. You probably had a career that people respected you for and admired you, and they came to you for advice or support in some way. And when you're throwing out things that relate to that time in your life, you think to yourself, what do I stand for now? So they're really, really emotional questions that is really hard to deal with when you're getting rid of stuff that has meaning or that had meaning in your life from your past. And the other thing that can make you feel guilty about throwing things away is that some of the stuff may be gifts or presents or inheritance and things like that. And I have to admit that I have lots of birthdays and Christmas cards and other cards from especially my daughter, where she'd written such beautiful messages. I'm just not ready to let go of such wonderful times, such tender, loving times. I've also got a few things that my parents had given me, or I've got photos and other things that still is related to my parents, and those are the things I probably won't get rid of. And I leave those to my children because I want them to still have that connection over time, and it will be their choice whether they want to keep that connection with their heritage through my parents or not. So those are the questions and emotions that you may be going through as you declutter and downsize. And they are really, really quite challenging questions to have to deal with. Now I thought I'd share how I've dealt with them. And the first one for me is the fact that it really was to do with financial constraints because I just couldn't keep up with the payments anymore. It's eating up too much of my life budget, I call it, because the budget is to do with me being able to eat better and having a financial support in a sense for those things that need to be paid, say on a quarterly basis, or when you have an extra expense that you weren't expecting to pay. So those little support for me has become less and less. So that's why I have to give up the storage unit. The second thing you can do that can make downsizing or decluttering easier is to take your time and be kind to yourself. You will see things that you probably haven't seen for a long time and you think, oh my gosh, that was such a lovely time and all this happened or whatever happened at that part of your life. Take your time and see how things feel, whether you're really ready to get rid of them or not. Although being able to take your time may be a benefit, I think for me, especially this time around, I didn't want to go into the next payment period, which meant I would have had to pay the following month's payment. I think having a time constraint made the task easier because I didn't have time to get too emotional. I just had to be practical. And to make this easier is give yourself three piles. For me, it was keep, charity, and throw away. And the other thing is if you feel that something is really important, give it to your family. So last year, when I downsized from my original storage unit, I was lucky to have my son help me. So I gave him things like blankets, books, and whatever it was that I was getting rid of, and he thought he could do it. I just gave it to him. And that can make it easier for you to let go of your things because you know that you're not just throwing it away, you're actually giving it to someone who can make use of it. So, this is our job done for today. Everything at the front with the tape on is what I'm taking back to the house. This painting I'm trying to sell on eBay. Hopefully, it will get sold, otherwise, it's going to stay in my room. And all the stuff that's going to the charity shop, and it's mostly books really that's going to the charity shop, are all on the back. And I'm quite happy with myself because I've only got this 1, 2, 3 boxes. This big hold all thing is my daughter's, which she will have to come and pick up. And there's just family stuff in that suitcase, which I will put in my room on top of the suitcase I've already got. And that's our job done for today. And I'm so glad it's finished. I wasn't too particular into what charity I gave them to. I just wanted to know that the things that had some meaning for me or had been useful for me at the time, that I gave them to charity so that other people can make use of them. And I'm not just getting rid of them at the recycling centre just to be thrown into a landfill. And that eased a lot of the guilt of getting rid of my stuff. And that might help you too, to know that you're not just throwing stuff that had meaning and memories into landfill just for nothingness. The fifth thing that might ease downsizing or decluttering for you, but made it more emotional for me finding this out, was that the stuff you have, they only have meaning for you and nobody else. And this was really difficult for me, especially when it came to the table and chairs. It had meant so much to me, and I was expecting it to sell for a good price because it was antique and it was Japanese oak. But when I put it up on eBay, nobody really wanted it. So in the end, I dropped the price because last week I just wanted to get all my stuff out, and I put it down to a really low price, and somebody bought it. The actual tabletop is what he wanted. The legs wouldn't fit in his car, so I made sure I got his QR code or the code to make sure that eBay knows he's collected it, and I made sure that we'd done the exchange. And I said, look, it's yours now, you can do whatever you want. And so he took the legs apart, or the frame where the actual tabletop sat. And I said, look, I really have to go because, to be honest, I did leave my unit open. So I just let him do trash the table legs. And that's what I mean. The stuff you have has no meaning apart from for you. But it was also the thing that was holding me back because it was easy to get my stuff out of the unit, but getting rid of tables and chairs when you don't have a car is so difficult. That's why I just wanted to get rid of it, and he did what he did with it to take it away. The last thing that made getting rid of my stuff easier was that much as all my stuff had lots of meaning for me, they were also holding me back in terms of starting over and rebuilding my life. I think you can't really rebuild and restart your life or live the next phase of our lives when we're holding on to so much of our past. And that was, for me, doing that journaling was really insightful because all I'm thinking about is those things remind me of a previous life. And although the memories I have were great times, I know that one, I can never go back to that time. And two, having those things is like something that is holding you back from moving forward, and that you can't move forward or restart or create a new life for yourself when you've got the past dragging you down. So for me, that was really insightful and motivating and making it so much easier. So I came back with one small suitcase of where I've kept the Christmas cards and things like that, one box of books, and the rest was something that was my daughter's, and the rest was midwifery days. Not that I wanted to keep them, but it was more a case of diaries from when I was still a midwife, which I have to shred, and that just takes time. And those are all the things that I've kept. And now that I'm out of the storage unit, that frees up some money for me that I can buy more food and better food, because all I've been doing is buying essentials, really, that I need on a week to week basis. I haven't been able to buy anything beyond the essentials. I also want to be able to invest some of the money into doing more creative stuff for YouTube and for you guys. And I haven't been able to do that since the last year because I just haven't got the money to even go out. For example, when I did the Christmas trip to Kingston, that comes out of my food budget. It's not about you guys feeling sorry for me, it's about me feeling that I can live my life, that I'm not so restricted because of all the stuff in storage and the money that's having to pay for the storage. And I want to be able to buy some new clothes. I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I want to be able to stand up on my own 2 feet. And for me, getting rid of my storage and getting rid of my stuff is my way of moving forward and being able to invest that money back into what I need to do. And this is the one thing that I've quite enjoyed being mostly in my room. The less stuff you have, the less time you spend cleaning and reordering everything and making everything look tidy. And instead of cleaning, you can spend that time on yourself. You can do self care instead of house cleaning. And I think that's been one of the best advantage of not having so much stuff to look after. And now I know that at the end of the month, I don't have so much money going out of my account. I'll have more freedom to live and do other things beyond going for a food shop or going to record in the park because I've got no money to do anything. So if you're finding yourself having to downsize because you've had to start over again, or maybe like me, you're house sharing and you're needing to downsize and declutter, take your time and remember there is no right or wrong way to do it. And the only right way is what's right for you.